Hey, good day, folks, and welcome to another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson, with a big time winning report out of today. What a fantastic day. So, we saw Trump just completely game the Chinese, and liberals are in despair. And I have the funniest two videos that you are going to watch all day. Stick with this, it'll be a blast. But first, I want to read to you out of the Babylon Bee, which might be one of their best headlines ever. It says, liberals devastated as stock market recovers. Now, you folks know how I feel. The stock market, Wall Street is not Main Street, okay? I think that anytime a market can react with an 8% gain just based on some news on tariffs, there's something inherently wrong with the market. I don't know if that's all set up on the automated trading platforms where they hit these buy-sell triggers and then it exacerbates the problem. Day trading is not that big of a chunk of the market, but it certainly can affect it as you start getting a down pile curve going on that. But anyways, this is still hilarious. So listen to this. New York, local stockbroker and lifelong Democrat Dean Water fell into utter despair today, tears falling from his eyes as he watched the stock market recover. Friends and relatives expressed deep concern about Water's anguish. He had been so happy the last couple of days as the stock market was crashing, his coworker Steve Carson noted. He was truly on cloud nine. He kept saying that Trump tanking the economy was probably the single greatest thing that ever happened to him. However, as the stock market rallied historically on Wednesday, Water's mood turned sour. It was like someone flipped the light switch, Carson noted. He kept looking at the stock market ticker going up and up and up. He just kept sobbing harder and harder and harder. There was no consoling him. Water reportedly went up to the roof to get some air, but ended up hurling himself off the building shortly thereafter. Sources says Water yelled, "Trump was right. I've lost everything," as he plummeted towards Wall Street. But in a stroke of good fortune, Water landed softly on a shipment of My Pillows bound for Trump Tower. Upon realizing he owed his life to Trump supporter Mike Lindell, Water apparently became even more distraught and had to be sedated at the scene. So, by the way, folks, go get yourself a My Pillow at mypillow.com. Use promo code Lumberjack for a big savings on the best sleep products available. There's my segue for you. Anyhow, it really they've got those great sales going on. Seriously, and go try that new Rev 7 energy drink. Stuff is phenomenal. I just had another can today. I just got my 3 cases that I had on order. I got those yesterday. So been using those as pre-workout drinks. But do me a favor, smash that like if you will. Chat in with where you're from, and we'll get this stream rolling. So here we've got, I want to just, so Donald Trump, just so you know, before the stock market rally, do you know what Donald Trump did? How many of you saw this? Kind of a big story, really. Trump did something unheard of in the annals of Congress. You know, where typically they try to keep their insider trading information to themselves, buy stocks, and perform like Nancy Pelosi, far exceeding the normal market gains. But what Donald Trump did was he put out a truth and he said, it would be a great time to buy right now. Oh, Douglas, longtime listener, look at this. I am no longer terrified. Yeah, so he does the buy now. And it's interesting because here's the thing. Congress is used to having this information all to themselves. So what we have now is a bunch of people freaking out in Congress, and it's absolutely beautiful. But I want to pull in Trump's other truth statement right now. He said, I will blow that up. It said, based on the lack of respect that China has shown to the world's markets, I am hereby raising the tariff charged to China by the United States of America to 125%, effective immediately. At some point, hopefully in the near future, China will realize that the days of ripping off the USA and other countries is no longer sustainable or acceptable. Conversely, and based upon the fact that more than 75 countries have called representatives of the United States, including the Departments of Commerce, Treasury, and the USTR, to negotiate a solution to the subjects being discussed relative to trade barriers, tariffs, currency manipulation, and non-monetary tariffs, and that Chinese countries have not, at my strong suggestion, and that these countries have not, at my strong suggestion, retaliated in any way, shape, or form against the United States, I have authorized a 90-day pause and a substantially lowered reciprocal tariff during this period of 10%, also effective immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. Now, here's the thing. What we have going on right now is the left freaking out, and they're saying, he blinked, Trump blinked. No, he didn't. No, he didn't. Okay, first off, all these countries were calling. I talked to you guys about this before. So what was going on was a complete realignment of global trade as other countries were calling in negotiating deals with the United States of America based on the news that they would be tariffed. Now, they still have a 10% tariff on all their products, which is going into the United States coffers. Okay, y'all get this, right? So there's still a tariff. They feel like it's a win because it's not these bigger tariffs. In the meantime, China gets a 125% tariff, people. 125% tariff. I'm going to turn my notifications off so we don't get those, put it on Do Not Disturb so we don't have those dings coming in. Okay. Yes, all those shorting the market lost millions today. Okay. But here's where it gets really wild. Do you think this guy, let me find him here now. Oh gosh, this is so epic, folks. Get ready to have the time of your life. Okay. I'm gonna pause this after it plays for a few seconds just to ask you a key question. So just so you know, this is U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer, and he's in front of Congress and he's reacting to the news of a 90-day pause on tariffs during a hearing. And watch this. Oh, and by the way, the guy questioning him, I'm going to pull up the information on this guy really quickly, is this guy, Stephen Horsford. He is an American politician, businessman serving as the U.S. representative for Nevada's 4th Congressional District since 2019, previously holding the position from 2013 to 2015. Okay. I've got another great video of Adam Schiff, but this first one we're going to watch is Stephen Alexander Horsford. Okay. So let's go to his video because this is epic. This is the stuff of legend. Get ready. Get popcorn if you don't have it because you're going to be laughing.
Mr. Trade Representative, are you aware that the tariffs have been paused?
I am, yes.
When were you made aware of that?
Well, I understood the decision was made a few minutes ago.
Sitting here.
Under discussion.
Sitting here, under discussion. So did you know that this was under discussion, and why did you not include that as part of your opening remarks?
So typically what I don't do is divulge the contents of my discussions.
What are the details of the pause?
Well, my understanding is that because so many countries have decided not to retaliate, we're going to have about 90 days.
No, excuse me? China increased their tariffs on the United States. Trump blinked.
What's the blink, sir?
Okay, if you didn't catch the question, he said, what's the blink, sir? What's the blink? Now, do you think Mr. Horsford was really upset because maybe he had shorted the market, or maybe because he didn't have the opportunity to buy ahead of time? Do you think that might be the reason here? Because this member of Congress who was like, man, I'm going to get into Congress. I'm going to do insider trading like Nancy Pelosi. I mean, he's Nevada. It's a border state, probably buddies with Nancy, thinking he's going to go out there and get all this good Congress money, right? For shorting markets or buying certain stocks. And now he's having a freak. And he's saying Trump blinked. And then he's like, well, what's the blink, sir? So watch this. It goes on. This is epic.
What do you know about this pause? What are the details of it?
Well, the details, as I understand it, is that China continues to retaliate. Other countries didn't retaliate. The president 2 or 3 days ago said we wanted to negotiate with those countries that asked for meetings. That's what we're doing.
What are the details? How long is the pause? How many days? How many weeks?
I understand it's 90 days. I haven't spoken to the president since I've been
in this hearing. So the trade representative hasn't spoken to the president of the United States about a global reordering of trade.
Yes, I have. I've just been in the hearing with you, sir.
But yet he announced it on a tweet.
So get this now. The guy's in a hearing with this Horsford idiot, okay, answering his questions, and Horsford's freaking out because he doesn't know all the details of it right now. This is wild. This is
WTF? Who's in charge?
The president of the United States is in charge.
And what do you know about those details?
Well, as I mentioned,
It looks like your boss just pulled the rug out from under you and paused the tariffs, the taxes on the American people. There's no strategy. You just found out 3 seconds ago, sitting here, we saw you.
we've been discussing a
If
variety
you
of
came
these
here knowing that you were going to be turned off, that these tariffs were going to be turned off, why didn't you include that in your opening statement? Why didn't you reference?
Okay, seriously, guys, do you think this guy lost money today? Is that why he's so upset? This is the most beautiful video I've seen all day. I'm going to let it keep playing, but light it up in the chat. Are you guys enjoying this? Because I think this is the funniest thing I've seen. This guy is actually apoplectic about it. And then he keeps asking the same question over and over again. Even though the question gets answered, he still keeps freaking out. It's just wild.
That as part of your testimony.
Well, I don't disclose my conversations with the president, sir.
These were specific questions we asked you all along. What's the strategy? These are real consequences for the American people and small businesses. I had a group of small businesses in my office earlier today talking about the impacts of these tariffs on aluminum and steel. This is amateur hour, and it needs to stop. What does this even mean for your negotiating strategy? How are you in charge of negotiation if the president is tweeting about this from wherever the hell he is?
The president was elected and he runs the trade policy, and I advise him and execute his
Who
trade
executes
policy.
the trade policy?
I execute the trade
Did you
policy,
know
Mr. President.
that this was happening?
We have been discussing all kinds of
And there's another
options.
member of the cabinet, Bessent, who just canceled coming to the Hill to avoid talking about the market because it's in turmoil. This in just days, because there was no strategy, there was no plan. The president chose to take actions that he didn't even have the authority to take. He's put our economy in disarray and near collapse. We have small businesses and Americans who are concerned about their well-being, people's retirement, people's 529 accounts went down because of this administration.
Okay. Well, wait, I think they just went up today. Or is Mr. Horsford saying that we had planned on continuing to short the market? And anyway, how many of you even know, let me just ask the question in the chat, how many of you even know what a 529 account is? Yes or no? Light that up in the chat. Okay, here we go. Let's see. Metro Atlanta, not Fulton County. Where's we want her more often? Nice. Anyhow, here we go. Back to this guy.
We have people that are planning to send their kids to college this fall. People who are retiring whose benefits have declined. Is this market manipulation?
No.
Why not? If it was a plan, if it was always the plan, how is this not market manipulation?
It's not market.
Wait, he just said, wait, did you see that he just said that there was no plan? Now he's saying there is a plan, and that makes it market manipulation. The guy makes no sense. He's lost his mind. Okay, a 529, I believe, is the college plan when you want to save money for your kid's college, just so you know. That's I'm pretty certain on that. I mean, I sometimes get those things confused, but as I recall, 529s are college plans. You guys can fact check me on that, whether or not I'm right. But I noticed most of you didn't know what it was because most of you don't have 529 plans. Okay. And or 539, is that what it is? It's one of the two, but it is the college savings plan. Yes. So here's the thing. He's talking about something that most Americans aren't even vested in, but his liberal friends are. And that's why he's freaking out, on top of the fact that he probably lost money. But this is absolutely epic. Here we go.
Manipulation, sir.
Well, then what is it? Because it sure is not a strategy.
We're trying to reset the global trade system.
And
That's offshored all of our factories.
what has that done?
Offshored all of
How
our
have you
jobs.
done? How have you achieved any of that?
Greer can't even talk.
But to enact enormous harm on the American people, which was our concern from the very beginning. Tariffs are a tool. It can be used in the appropriate way to protect U.S. jobs and small businesses. But that's not what this does. So if it's not market manipulation, what is it? Who's benefiting? What billionaire just got richer? And all the while, there are not even any Republicans left in this hearing. They all left because they don't even want to defend this. But meanwhile, the speaker is rushing to the floor to pass a budget reconciliation to screw America by passing the biggest tax cut in history on the backs.
Do you guys feel like a big tax cut right now would be a bad thing? I mean, he's saying that's screwing Americans, but cutting taxes is now screwing Americans. This guy is so unhinged. He makes no sense. It's absolutely, this is the type of meltdown I love to watch. We'll go back to it.
The American people? WTF? Who's in charge? Because it sure doesn't look like it's the trade representative. You just got the rug pulled out from under you. I wish I could feel some empathy, but the empathy I have is for the American people whose very well-being and livelihoods are being affected. This is not a game. This is real life. I yield back.
Let the record reflect that there's more Republicans in this chamber than there are Democrats currently in this committee room. There's 6 of us, there's 5 of you. So let's make sure we get the facts right. I appreciate the president did not blink on China, as was said earlier, and it needs to be corrected in the record. In fact, he increased China by 125%.
Would you yield, Mr. Chairman?
I do not.
Yield? Can we have a colloquy?
No.
We don't want to talk about the trade policy here in the trade committee. That this is our jurisdiction.
Your time has expired, and I'm more than happy to talk to you.
Yield.
And I said no.
Because you don't want to defend the policy or the strategy. Kick me out. What you gonna do? Kick me out of this?
Mr. Yakum, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
That, my friends, that's what you call an epic meltdown. That is the greatest meltdown I have seen in Congress in a little while. I am almost certain that this dude lost money in the markets today. He was probably betting the wrong way. Trump did have a plan. Okay, it's not market manipulation. As was said by Jameson Greer, they're trying to reset the global trade policy, and China is going to pay additional tariffs. That's all part of the process. Okay, and will you pay more for some goods? Yes. Okay, get off your addiction to cheap Chinese crap. Okay, I mean, they make just crap. And then they take and they steal our intellectual property and run and make more crap. It's just cheap Chinese plastic crap, okay? You don't need it. All right. Let's reset this global trade policy stuff. All right. Now, here we go. I got another, that's a big one too. That's a big win. But I want to go to this. I want to go to Adam Schiff because he's losing his mind. And I bet you dollars to donuts, Adam Shifty Schiff lost money today too. Watch this. This is epic.
How concerned are you with this market fluctuation? And are you concerned that there could be members of the White House that are benefiting from it?
Absolutely. I'm writing to the White House to demand who knew in advance that the president was going to once again flip-flop on tariffs. And are people cashing in? There is just all too much opportunity for people in the White House and the administration to be insider trading, and you can't put it past them for a minute.
Okay, this is funny coming from Adam Schiff. Okay, very funny. But I also want you to think about this for a second. Okay. Adam Schiff talking about insider trading and market manipulation is maybe the funniest thing I've seen in all my livelong days. But tell me how Trump flip-flopped on tariffs. Everybody just light it up. Tell me how President Trump flip-flopped on tariffs. The tariffs are still in place on every other country. They're just at 10%. The other countries came to him. He said, if you come to us to deal, we will work with you. Okay? So the other countries have come to the negotiating table. So tell me, how did Trump flip-flop on tariffs? I'm sure there's some lefty watching this that could tell me how Trump flip-flopped on these tariffs. Light it up in the chat. You will not get mods. Do not dare strike these lefties who want to wig out about this, because I want to see comments.
So we're going to try to find out.
There's a good chance they'll just ignore you, though, right? Should there be some other independent investigation into this?
Well, I think Congress should do an investigation into this, but we're going to demand answers from the administration. I think you're right. They're likely to stonewall, particularly if they've been engaged in corrupt insider trading. But they won't be able to hide it for good. I mean, we know who's in the administration.
Bingo,
we can look at eventually what people are buying and selling. This will come out. But an administration that has their own meme coins and is already engaged in self-interested dealing when Elon is doging agencies that are doing oversight of his own businesses, in that kind of corrupt climate, you have to assume the worst. And we're going to try to find out.
Yes. Elon doging the government. It's so bad, actually finding waste, fraud, and abuse and rooting it out of our government. How many of you are upset with Elon Musk for doging the government? And how many of you, this is a serious question, okay? How many of you are concerned about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid? Okay, because they keep parroting this, okay? It's all over the media. How many of you are legitimately concerned, and I really want to know, about Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid? Are you concerned about that or not concerned? Just yes or no. Okay. Like you're not concerned. Okay. I've got nopes. Somebody's got to be concerned about this. Not, no. Definite concern. Okay. Thank you. Okay. I got one. Okay. Okay. So I just want to address this, Joni. So when Doge goes into Social Security, Medicare, Medicaid, okay, what they are doing is not looking to reduce payments to you. They are looking to find the waste, fraud, and abuse in the system. So yes, cuts need to be made by taking people off who are 150 plus years old, by taking the illegal aliens who are getting benefits off because it can't survive with that kind of fraud going on. So I hope, Joni, you understand that this isn't about taking away your benefits. It's actually about providing a more transparent process so we can ensure that you receive your benefits, because everybody who paid into Social Security should get their Social Security, right? You all agree with that, correct? Yes, no. Okay. I mean, I'm not into, they call it entitlement spending. It's not an entitlement. Okay. When you've paid in, that's not an entitlement. I am so sick of these freaking neocons using that word entitlement spending. It is not entitlement. Okay. No, in fact, the people who paid into Social Security got screwed, because if you had put that in the S&P, the amount of money you would be getting every month is so far exceeding what the government is giving you. It's a complete con job. It's a Ponzi scheme. But if you paid in, you should at least get your money out of it. Drives me nuts. Whatever. These people are freaks. But here, I got one more. I got a big one for you, folks. So those of you who followed me for a while know about this guy. His name's Chris Krebs. How many of you remember Chris Krebs? Okay. The president signed a presidential memorandum revoking any active security clearance held by Chris Krebs and his associates, and they're launching an investigation into
Christopher Krebs, the former head of CISA. This is a man who weaponized his position against free speech in the election context, in the context of COVID-19. A presidential memorandum to the one you just signed, assurances he might have, and further instructs your Department of Justice, other aspects of your government, to investigate some of the malign acts that he participated in while he was still head of CISA.
This is another one. I don't know that I met him. I'm sure I met him, but I didn't know.
Okay, so I see some people haven't heard of Chris Krebs. Okay, so I just need to explain this quick. There's something called CISA, or CISA. It's a cybersecurity and infrastructure something agency. Anyhow, Chris Krebs was the one who came on. President Trump fired him just after the 2020 election in November, because Chris Krebs came out and said it was the most secure in the nation's history. The best, the most secure. Okay. And he is, so he got canned, but now he's getting an investigation done.
And he came out right after the election, which was a rigged election, badly rigged election. We did phenomenally in that election. Look what happened to our country because of it. Open borders, millions of people coming into our country. Russia and Ukraine, that would have never happened. October 7th would have never happened. Afghanistan, the way that they withdrew with 13 dead, but so many killed, actually. I mean, so many killed outside of the 13 soldiers, hundreds of people killed. And maybe, I don't know, never mentioned, but I mentioned it, 42 or 43 people so badly injured, the legs, the arms, blown off, the face. And this is all because of an incompetent group of people that preceded us, and that would have never happened. And this guy Krebs was saying, oh, the election was great, it was great. Well, it's been proven that it was not only not great. When you look at all these lawyers and law firms that are signing, giving us hundreds of millions of dollars, it was proven by so many different ways in so many different forms, from the legislatures not approving to the.
And you have to understand, folks, and I'm going to pull this out, but you've got it. So he signed this just today. Okay. And here's the reality. I mean, you think of all this that happened, okay, by this previous administration, how many laws they broke, and they are the party of projection. So when Adam Schiff is talking about, the Trump administration making money off of insider trading, allegedly, who's making money off of insider trading? Light that up in the chat. Who's actually making money when Adam Schiff is accusing the Trump administration of doing that? Okay, because we call them projectocrats for a reason. They project on to the other side what they are actually doing. So who's actually making the money off insider trading? Okay, then you look at they're projecting about this whole rule of law issue. It's like, oh, the rule of law. Don't worry, folks. I see everybody lighting up with Dems. I was actually looking for Adam Schiff, but the Republicans are making plenty of money off insider trading too. Okay, I can show you different Republicans that I'm not so fond of. I mean, they had information on COVID, and then they played that game and made money off insider trading. And I understand that would be a what's the word I'm looking for? A temptation, really. I mean, if you're sitting there and you've got $50,000 and you're like, holy cats, COVID's coming, and I know that. And so this is why you have to take the temptation away and ban members of Congress from actually purchasing stocks, because otherwise that temptation's there. Let's see what we got here. Lanny Button says, may God's blessings flow down on you and yours and America's patriots. Thank you, Lanny. That's very kind. $10 super chat there. And then there was another, let's all super chat Neil $1. I'll start. You did too, Carrie. He said, let's all super chat $1, and you did too. Anyhow, so no, I think when you look at this, what they are constantly projecting onto, Trump and his team, and then they're talking about the rule of law and no one's above the law when they make themselves above the law all the time. But don't kid yourself. This is a big win. I mean, so Trump doing the retaliatory tariffs on China up to 125%. No, who blinked? China. I mean, Trump didn't blink on China. Otherwise, he wouldn't have raised the tariffs more. And again, we can get off our addiction to cheap Chinese crap. Okay. We don't need that. Okay. That's just a thing. So anyhow, I want to thank you so much for joining me on this stream. Check out MyPillow, mypillow.com. Subscribe if you're new, folks. Subscribe. We've got a great group. You can see in the chat there, we have a good group of people. But please do support mypillow.com. Use promo code Lumberjack. Actually, you have to go call the 800 number, because we've got those special deals running right now. That's on the sheets. It's the towels and the Rev 7 energy drink. And for all those, you either have to go to the Lumberjack page, which is mypillow.com/Lumberjack, or call. It's easiest just to call 1-800-568-2865. If you get on a standing shipment of the Rev 7 energy drink, you will get 3 free cans shipped out to you right away. So I love this stuff. I used it again today for my workout. So we'll see you on the next episode, folks. Peace out.